The Halfbrick Show.
Welcome to the Halfbrick Show. You're listening to part 2 of our Dan the Man special. Go back and listen to the previous episode first if you haven't already, and thank you for joining us.
Yes, thanks for being here. If you have any other opinions that you want to share on this with us, questions or thoughts on this 2-part format, send us an email to theshow@halfbrick.com and we'll take it on board.
This was a super fun episode to record, so we hope you enjoy listening to it as much as we did making it. Let's go back to the interview. So I wanted to move on to something a little bit different. Here from the producer's cabin, we have asked the community to give us some questions. We received a lot, so we have had to choose since we cannot keep you here for all day.
Or for all eternity.
Yeah, no, we would. It's just that we can't. So we're all going to read to you some of these questions, and we would like for you to answer them. Of course, I have to warn our listeners that these are your opinions, well, our opinions, and that sadly you guys don't make canon. Otherwise, I'm sure that the old geezers would be called like Esteban and Juan, which would be very nice. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, but just a little warning to the listeners that sadly this won't make it canon. So, Fran, you want to start with the last question? The first question, sorry. I don't know how to count.
It mixes it up.
we could start from the bottom upwards. I mean, it's our podcast.
The listeners won't know. Yeah.
But yeah, I can start. So the first question, or the last question, is why is the last boss in Dan the Man so hard?
Is it?
Yeah,
this
I
player.
don't think so. I mean, it's pretty easy.
Well, if you play the hard mode, maybe it's trickier.
Yeah,
it's harder.
It's in hard mode.
Okay, yeah.
Oh, right,
But
yeah.
at the end of the day, as we said, if you learn the patterns and you have the patience, I think that is not so hard.
I guess if you're going to play it in hard mode, though, you would expect it to be hard.
Yeah, that's why it's called hard mode.
That's a good point. Yeah.
That's the idea.
Well, sorry,
okay.
I forgot the crying emoji at the end
There
of
was a
that
crying
sentence.
emoji.
My apologies to the person who wrote that comment.
In
Yeah.
fact, I would say that Dark Master is
it's harder.
harder.
Specifically in hard, just in general. Yeah.
Yeah, in
Okay.
the regular game, for instance, my daughter was playing the Dark Master, and I had to help her after I cannot remember the attempts that she did, and I helped her. But the final boss, she did it on her own. So it's not so hard, and she's young, so that's.
There you go. Okay. The get good mentality on that hard
Skill
boss
issue.
skill issue. Yeah.
Yeah.
Respectfully, skill issue.
Also, remember that if you hit on the chest of the final boss, you accelerate the moment that he faints, so you can punch him. So that's a
trick.
That's a trick. Yeah.
There you
Okay,
go.
nice.
Tips from the devs right there.
Yep. Next question. Will Josie ever find Marcus? If we have much insight on that one.
Good question. But
that's pretty new. Yeah.
But I think that we need to wait for Dandeman 2 to know it.
Good answer.
Okay. I don't know what I was expecting. But that makes sense.
I think we wish for her to find Marcus. We wish her all the best. She's one of the fans' favorite characters, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. On that note, would there ever be a chance to make another playable character? And if, hypothetically, this was something that we could do, which character ideally would you guys want to put in Dan the Man?
Maybe Jackie Chan?
Oh,
Yes. Oh, I
Just
heartily
joking.
endorse. No, but I endorse that suggestion.
That would be so cool.
Um,
Like an official crossover or something like that. Yeah.
not to pity you guys against any former podcast guest, but there was someone who promised to put Fran and I in Halfbrick Sports Football. So
yeah,
just saying the
that's
competition
true.
is high.
Little Fran running around. Little Fran punching. I mean,
It could be. Never say never. But right now we are just not thinking on adding new characters on Dan the Man. That's why we have the custom character. But never say never, because it came to the discussions sometimes. It's hard to put a new character because of all of the skill set, all the combat moves and everything. So it's not easy to add it. But I don't know if, Paco, we can say who we think in the past to add in the game that was close to be.
You mean another Halfbrick character?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of the plans.
Yeah.
It was Sensei from Fruit Ninja.
Yeah. The Sensei of
Whoa.
Fruit Ninja. Yeah.
Yeah.
Was one
Okay.
possibility, but we discarded. We started to think about it, and finally we discarded it.
Yeah, it was
Oh.
like Sensei or Barry, and finally we choose Barry.
Barry, right.
Fits
Well,
better in the universe of Dan the Man.
Yeah. And the Barry and Dan friendly rivalry has become kind of iconic beyond that
Yep.
anyway. So, well,
Is it
do you have
friendly?
like, well, I like to say friendly. I don't know if it actually.
Friendly, toxic friendship. We don't know.
Yeah.
Frenemies.
Yeah.
Frenemies. Was there like a dream scenario, Victor, that you would, if there was like any character from anything or a whole new character that you could create?
Yeah, for sure.
Would you?
One crossover from some old retro games will fit perfectly in the style and in the game itself. I don't want to say names.
Yeah, of course.
Like I never will say something like a Street Fighter or whatever, but it could be something like that. That's my dream on the game.
Yeah. Okay. Fran, the next
Aiden
question is
just-
yours.
well, you just said it. So
Oh, I
Okay.
totally did. I'm so sorry. The next question was about crossovers. Sorry, I was still talking about playable characters. But yeah, that does answer that question as well. And we can keep that in. That's a blunder on my part. Add another boo sound effect to me for this episode.
Yeah, I will have the boo sound effect and the sad trombone.
Yeah.
Fwah, fwah,
Ah.
fwah, fwah.
I don't need
Paco,
to
did
add
you have a
it.
crossover? Like, would you have a crazy crossover yourself?
With Halfbrick games, maybe?
Yeah,
You know-
Anything? Yeah.
You know what other Halfbrick IP,
Oh no, Halfbrick, sorry. yeah.
IP could fit? Rascals, maybe.
Mm.
Ooh, like King Rascal, yeah.
Rascal.
Yeah, just keep in mind that Paco and myself, we were working together also in Battle Racing Stars. And
Yeah.
that game was super fun just to put together a lot of IPs from Halfbrick and getting characters, and was very interesting, just exploring different things. And Rascal's IP is quite powerful. There are a lot of different characters there that can fit well.
Yeah, definitely. That's like my favorite character is King Rascal from Halfbrick, I'd say.
I love
Nice, yeah.
that. Well, for the last question, I personally picked this one. I didn't write this one, which Aidan has already asked me twice
I
today.
honestly did
but
just think it was you.
no. There was someone in the community. Sadly, we cannot give you a shout out because the question was submitted anonymously. But it
I
says,
know who
Oh,
is there.
you give them a shout out then. I am reading this. So it says, I know Victor's stance on this important issue, but I must
Im-
know Paco's. Tortilla de patatas with onions or without onions?
And very important topic.
Yeah. Yeah, this is a national pride thing in
I'm
Spain.
in the without onions team.
No.
Yeah, that's a mistake, Paco. That's a
Why?
mistake.
Oh, Victor, you're with?
The much the better. So the
No, but
onion and
it's
potato.
like, why do you need onions? It's like,
I will
What
add another
flavor?
thing. Yeah, and I will add another thing. Zucchini, for instance. it's
Yes.
another good addition. You have to mix all together and you try with one
But
thing, with
that's-
another thing.
You cannot add everything.
No,
you
not
know,
everything.
It's like, Victor, imagine
yeah.
that I start adding chorizo to
In
your
the
paella.
I knew that you were going to say that. Okay.
It's
I'm-
not the same.
Yeah, this is not the same. So the paella is the paella. There are a lot of ingredients on the paella, so that it is what it is. But the tortilla is egg and just potato. So you can add another thing just to give a bit of flavor. That's it. The paella
It doesn't need to be
has a
onion,
lot.
though, does it?
It kind of does. I guess you could also use garlic.
There you
Yeah.
go.
But
then.
Ooh.
Paco,
Love
since you're a
garlic as a
purist, I'm
Garlic.
guessing that you also don't use garlic.
You're crazy. Garlic in the
No, but
in the
A little
Spanish
bit.
omelette.
yeah, no,
My
but
God,
young
yeah.
garlic,
Oh.
I think it's called. It's very good with that, and with a lot of ingredients. The omelette can be done with a lot of things. So
Do you know what? The last thing that I've seen, some people are cooking the tortilla of patatas, the Spanish omelette, with chips instead
Oh, yeah.
of
That sounds nice.
I-
real
yeah.
potatoes.
No,
Okay, I have to confess. I have to confess now that I did it twice in my life. So,
Oh my God, Victor.
but was because we were in a hurry. And we didn't have time to fry the potatoes, so we got the chips back and put it with the egg.
And with onion.
It's not good. It's not
Exclusive
spectacular.
right here.
Yeah, it's not spectacular, but it's not bad. I have to say that. So if you are in a hurry, it can help.
Yeah,
So
if
just
you do it a
saying.
second time, it must have been okay to do it twice.
Yeah, well, it was because we were in a hurry. That was the
no,
point. but
Aiden. I'm going to cook a tortilla de patatas for you, just for you
Yes.
to try it, and then
Thank you.
can weigh in this conversation. We can do
Yeah.
one without onion and one with
I would
onion,
absolutely try both.
and then
Have you never had one?
No, that's
Really?
Spanish omelette. No,
You just buy them in the shops, I thought. Well, I have had. So
I don't know. My palate is very tame,
very
but I would gladly
very
try any new
Australian.
food. Very Australian, yeah. Oh no, too spicy. Too spicy.
no, it's not spicy.
No.
Yeah.
When we release the Halfbrick Show cookbook, because that's something that we are going to do, I will add a recipe for tortilla de patatas. And
Okay.
if this cost us like half of Spanish speaking listeners, well, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, guys. I
Mm.
tried.
Oh,
I
well,
tried.
there is one fun fact about meals in Halfbrick, just to let you know. When we went to Australia, all the team from Spain, the Shaniel, the CEO, just purchased a paella pan, and we did a wood fire, and we cooked a real paella in Australia, and was
Oh.
surprisingly very
delicious.
good. Very
Will you
good.
do
Okay.
it again?
No.
Oh.
Oh,
But I want
okay.
paella.
No, it worked once. We won't play to be gods. So that's once,
okay.
and that's it.
It's true. It's true.
But guys, if you want to cook a paella with onion for me, maybe I can change my mind. I don't mind.
No, paella
Changing
with
team.
onion is
Paella
forbidden.
with
Sorry,
onion.
tortilla. I mean
okay.
tortilla.
Well,
I
if-
can change. my
I mean,
mind.
you can use the onion if you are to do the sofrito just at the beginning. That's it.
Yeah.
But, with paella, I mean, yeah?
No, it's okay. For those who might be lacking the context, this here has been a culinary wars. This is like the most important philosophical issue in Spain right now. If you
Yeah.
want to get a Spanish person talking, just ask them about tortilla de patatas or ask them about paella. I'm not responsible for any answer that
Yeah.
you will get. But speaking of fun answers, Fran, I think that now the time has come to do my favorite segment.
I know, and sadly, some of the questions I put here is not with onion or without onion. So, right. Well, you were about to play one of the greatest quizzes that this podcast has ever seen. You were about to play the game known as This or That.
Okay.
Okay.
Basically, how you play it is I will give you 2 prompts and then you say the answer you like the most.
Easy.
Yeah, that's it. Now,
Yeah.
I would say, because there's two of you, I've not done this before. This can go, if you choose
Uncharted
two different
territory.
answers, then things are going to go a little bit weird and different.
Do we allow time to fight it out and argue over which one is superior?
Yes. Yes, we do. Right. So, you're about to play this or that. Question 1. Custom character or main character?
Custom character.
Main character.
Oh, off the bat,
Fight is
two
on.
different answers. That one's hard to fight for?
Yeah,
It's
I
like
guess it is.
preference, I guess, isn't it?
They both look so pleased with themselves as well.
Yeah, you're both happy. No one's, like, yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, in my case, it's because of I can explain it, but I don't know if I need to explain my response.
You don't actually. You don't.
No,
Okay, so-
not for this one. It's good.
All right. Bald geezer or hat geezer?
Hat geezer.
Bald geezer.
You are just saying the other the other thing.
No,
Just
I
I
was
think he's doing
thinking-
it deliberately. I think
was
Paco's
thi- I
doing
was
this
think-
deliberately.
I was thinking about the bald geezer
Were you? Or are you just doing it
Because-
to be different?
because Hat Geezer dies at the end of stage 8.
spoiler. Spoiler.
And the bald geezer is the one that wants to revenge him. So that's,
Mm,
that
he's got the
moment
deeper character arc.
crying. It's like, oh my God.
Okay.
Okay. Question 3. Chicken god cultist or the resistance?
Oof. Chicken.
No,
cult.
Victor.
Yeah,
The
chicken
resistance.
cult.
The resistance.
Paco, come on.
The resistance is much more interesting.
You will say the next one first.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Mm,
Yep.
Okay. Getting cursed or dancing in front of the king naked?
Getting cursed.
Dancing naked.
I can't tell what's real.
Well, yeah.
Paco is going to change his mind. I
No,
know.
I was thinking that maybe dancing naked in front of the king, that's like similar to get cursed because it's
to getting
like,
cursed, yeah.
yeah.
Is it though?
Would you do
'Cause
that
you
in
can
with free will?
I don't think that you enjoy doing that dance.
Yeah, but
Hmm.
he doesn't. You're cursed for a specific amount of time, right? Until you achieve a goal.
Mm.
But you dance in front of the king naked once.
And the king will be naked too to dance with you. So I'm pretty sure about
yeah.
that.
And Dan looks like he's having a lovely time.
Pretty sure.
Is that your final answer?
Final answer.
Okay.
Get
Okay.
cursed.
Okay.
He loves that.
And this is your final question. Making Dan fight 100 small chicken gods or making one giant god chicken fight Dan 100 times?
Yeah. Please, Paco, proceed.
Oof. Can I answer just this or that? It's like
To avoid
Okay,
repeating.
let me think. So we have like a giant chicken god and 100 small dance trying to defeat it, or we have
You have
50 very small chicken gods and one single dan. Well, that's scary.
Still 100
too.
small chicken gods,
well.
but
yeah,
still only one
100
Dan. Yeah, one Dan there, yeah.
One Dan, 100 small chicken gods, one giant chicken god, and Dan has to fight him 100 times.
I prefer 100 chicken gods. That's so funny, right?
Small ones, yeah.
And I will say exactly the same, just to finish. Agreeing.
Hey.
We did it.
Friendship in the end wins. I think 100 small chicken gods would be funny too, because Dan could probably just kick them away. How small were you thinking, Fran, in your mind?
Chicken size.
Oh yeah, okay, that makes sense.
Chickens can be many different sizes.
Stereotypical, like pretty small, like
bantam.
Okay, yeah, whatever that means.
yeah, we
Oh, it's a chicken.
I'll believe it.
How it's called that in Australia? The bean chicken. How it's called the
An ibis.
ibis? The ibis.
Oh.
Yeah.
It's a
Bin
big one
chickens
in
are
that case.
scary. If the chicken god was an ibis, I wouldn't be playing it. I wouldn't even go near it. I'd be a lot more scared.
A bantam is a chicken. I didn't just say random word.
Yeah.
I will add it on the video. So we have a very nice biology lesson today from Halfbrick Show.
Yep. Ibis and a bantam.
We learned
up
a
on the
lot
screen.
of things today.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it's still going, but only a little bit longer. You guys are on the final stretch. Thank you so much for the time. This one's a bit of a it's similar to a quiz, but you have to tell us, right? We have 2 comments that we've taken from YouTube or somewhere on social media, right? From a player. I'll read them to you. I'll read the first one, come and we'll read the second, and you have to guess or, figure out if it's real or if we made it up.
Okay.
If we created it. So I'll get you both to answer like we just did before, and then we'll do a bit of a competition. Since there's 2, we'll see who gets more right. We'll see if we can get a winner, a clear winner. Yeah.
I'm waiting for Where is Andaman 2?
Well, that's coming. That's right after this one. Don't you worry.
Such an eager guest, aren't you, Victor?
I wouldn't
like
be
it,
excited
though.
for that.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get to the first comment. I've got this one, and I'll read this. So it's quote. It's 2 words. It's arise chicken with a chicken emoji. That's the comment. Is that real from a player, or have we made it up?
Real. 100% real.
Okay, real from Victor.
Okay, real.
What'd you
Let's
say,
go with
Paco?
real.
Both real?
Yeah.
Okay. Congratulations. That one is actually, that's true. That's real.
Oh.
Yeah, that's from a user Words
Good
with
job.
Hats. Yeah. Most people recently have been getting it wrong, so that's actually very impressive. But there's 2 for you guys. There's 2, so one more chance. Let's see.
Yeah. The second one reads, quote, my headcanon is that Dan loves KFC. 2 dots, and then R.I.P. Gustavo. This is written in all caps, and a praying hands emoji. End quote.
That's like a good comment or meme, but I think that you made it.
I think I remember something related with that. Reading something, because I read the comments usually. So I will say that
We
I
love
read
that.
something similar. But yeah, I will keep that it's real.
Final answer?
Okay.
Yep.
Okay. So Paco just got it right. It's fake.
Yeah.
It was made up by me. It's true that it's made out of several comments, but I have never seen anything like that.
Okay, I
How
saw
many
some
comments did you
similar.
make that from?
3.
Oh,
And
3
I added
different
the praying
comments.
emoji. That
Frankenstein's
comes from me.
monster of a comment.
That's tricky though, because it's that makes
I
sense that
read
Victor's
something,
seen it a little bit. Yeah. Okay.
Yes.
Congratulations, Paco.
Both of these comments, well, the first one, since it was true, and the second one were based on the Chicken God announcement video.
Yeah,
So
I read something.
that's our theme. That's our theme.
Right.
Very good, Victor. You got bragging rights. Oh no, Paco got bragging rights. Sorry, you got like the opposite of bragging rights.
The Diet Coke of bragging rights.
Yeah, and bragging rights.
Well, Victor, it's that moment you've been waiting for.
Yeah, where is
Dan the Man 2?
Okay, so my answer is Paco. Proceed.
I think that
Pushes it over.
I've never seen that comment anywhere, so I think that you guys made it.
No.
No, but you
Just
have to
joking,
respond.
joking.
Oh, yeah, I see what you did there.
Just
Nice
joking.
deflection. No.
That's from real people. That's from the fans.
Yeah, no, but they want to ask for response, no?
Yeah, we want an
Response for
answer
that.
for this one. We
Yeah.
want to know
You
what
want
you
an
think.
answer? Okay.
Yeah, the fans demand an
A
answer.
real live answer, not one of those fake news answers, a
Yeah.
legit answer.
Well, we have talking that we are now working on the Dandeman 1 port. So after that, we will continue with our works on Dandeman 2. Unfortunately, we don't have a release date yet, but it will happen.
Yeah.
at some point.
I think we can say that, no? Just to being honest with the people who is asking for that. And honestly, I love it. When I saw some of the things, it could be a great story and a great game.
It will.
And that Marcus question, that's out there. If Josie will find him. Well, thank you guys for a heartfelt answer. Appreciate it. We'll end it on a lighthearted question then, like one last little one. In your whole time in the games industry, in Halfbrick or before Halfbrick, what is one thing that you've each learned that wasn't in the description that you didn't expect to learn working in games or on games?
Interesting question. I think that I need to think a little bit. To use my brain, maybe Victor can start and I...
No. I'm the same. I'm like shocked and I don't know what to say.
Yeah, is there anything unique or like a really crazy experience that you can only get working on these games?
Or a skill that
Well,
you have developed over time that you think is really, really important.
Okay. One reflection is that I think that every time that you see that a game is released is like a small miracle, because developing games is so hard, so hard. Too many different departments, people working all together, so it's really tough to create a video game. So that's one of the things, that's one of the lessons. And I don't know, what do you think, Victor?
Maybe the impact of what we are doing, because we are not aware. In my case, for instance, I was doing games for my friends at the beginning, so the impact was low and I get just a small feedback. But when you are working in things like, for instance, Dan the Man, where there is such a great fan base and people is so involved on everything, you realize that every single decision that you take, every single thing that you are adding is having a great impact. And even that sometimes we can get some complaints, or the 99% of the people and the fans are super happy, super good with us, just trying to make us understand how it impacted, the game impacted on them, or is part of their childhood. That is something that we forget. But this game, for instance, a lot of people played when they were young. Even that is not a law because of the age requirement. They were playing a lot.
Yeah.
And that memories that I have with Mario, for instance, they have it with Down the Man. And I'm super happy. Remember that the game is played for, it was like 100 million. It was something like that. More than that people who played the game. So there is a lot of people. And we forget about that. It's like, okay, what we are doing is people somehow.
Such a large number. You forget, don't you, that has an impact on so many people, and it's still having an impact on so many people.
Yeah, that's a honor and a big responsibility, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
And it's not just the game; it's the animations as well. They've got millions of views on YouTube. It's incredible.
I also love the fan art that the people create. It's like, wow, a lot of creative things.
The impact. Yeah, definitely. Lovely. Great answer.
That's when you know you've really made it.
And we can ask the
Maybe
listeners.
I'll have a cheeky look on the weekend.
They can draw 100 little, chicken goats.
100 little chicken goats. Yeah.
No, all right. Well, it might be a while before we see what Victor and Paco have been working on, but thank you so much for all your support on Dan the Man. It's been really great talking to you. Thank you so much.
Yeah, thanks for joining us, Victor and Paco. You were our first double guest. We hope that you have had a nice experience, that you won't dream with miniature chicken gods or have nightmares about it.
Or
Thank
onions.
So many
you.
nightmares.
Thank you very much, guys. It's been
Yeah.
amazing spending
Yes,
this time with you.
Thank you
Thank you
for
so much
having
for the
us.
time.
Yeah.
All right,
And
Yeah, it's been
thank
really
you.
great.
people, if you like this video, don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, right,
Oh,
and comment.
And write
brilliant.
us emails.
Yeah, send us an email, theshow@halfbrick.com. It's been great. Thank you guys so much. And yeah, to the listeners, do like and subscribe. But we hope that this has been another episode that you can look back on with nostalgia.
Coming up next time on The Halfbrick Show.
Looking for more Halfbrick Show episodes? Well, you can now find them on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and on our YouTube. Thanks for listening!